You said the 5th chapter of Job. We doing good. Right, how you doing?
Job, the 5th chapter of Job, right? All right, let me know when you want me to read.
Go ahead and read it.
Call now if there be any that will answer thee, and to which of the saints wilt thou turn? For wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them. Whose harvest the hungry eateth up, and taketh it even out of the thorns, and the robber swalloweth up their substance. Although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither doth trouble spring out of the ground. Yet man is born unto trouble as the sparks fly upward, I will seek unto God, and unto God would I commit my cause.
Go ahead.
Which doeth great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number. Who giveth rain upon the earth and sendeth waters upon the fields. To set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in the noonday as the night. But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Keep going.
Well, you want us to keep going, Brother John?
The whole chapter, right?
Go ahead.
17. Behold, happy is the man whom God correcteth. Therefore, despise not thou the chastisement of the Almighty.
Go ahead.
For he maketh score, and bindeth up. He woundeth, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation, and shalt not sin. Thou shalt know also thy seed shall be great, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth. Thou shalt come to thy grave in full age, like as a shock of corn cometh in his season. Lo, this, we have searched it, so it is. Hear it, and know thou it for thy good.
So what's the question, Brother John? The whole chapter? All right, so actually let's go over to Job 4 and verse 1. Go ahead and start.
Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, If we essay to commune with thee, wilt thou be grieved? But who can withhold himself from speaking?
All right, so this is not in right here in 5, that's not Job talking. That's Eliphaz. All right. So let's skip down to verse 17.
Shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his maker? Behold, he put no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly.
All right, so now let's skip down. Now let's skip down to Job 5, and then now let's pick it up in verse 1, so we'll know who's talking.
Call now if there be any that will answer thee, and to which of the saints wilt thou turn?
All right, so at verse 1 it says, call now if there be any that will answer thee, and to which of the saints wilt thou turn? So this is a conversation Eliphaz is having with Job. He's really thinking that Job did something. And he's talking to him about his punishment. So verse 1 says, call now if there be any that will answer thee, and to which of the saints wilt thou turn? So now he asks a question, right? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, verse 2.
For wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one.
All right, so for wrath killeth the foolish man, but envy slayeth the silly one. Go ahead.
I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation.
Go ahead.
His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them. Whose harvest the hungry eateth up, and taketh it even out of the thorns, and the robber swalloweth up their substance. Mm-hmm. Although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither doth trouble spring out of the ground. Yet man is born unto trouble, as the sparks fly upward. I will seek unto God, and unto God would I commit my cause.
All right, so let's go back to verse 4. It said, his children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them. All right, so it says, for wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one. Like, they really think Job did something. So he's talking to him as if Job really did something. And if we go all the way back and read, it was a test. So this is like a conversation, somebody trying to tell you what you should do, and you basically, hey, you need to repent, and this is all the things, and God gonna punish you for this because you did this here, but let me break all this stuff down. He telling them some good things, but Job didn't do nothing. So in verse 3, I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. His children are far from safety, and they are cursed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them. Verse 5, go ahead.
Whose harvest the hungry eateth up, and taketh it even out of the thorns, and the robber swalloweth up their substance. Although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither doth trouble spring out of the ground.
Go ahead.
Yet man is born unto trouble.
Yet man is born into trouble. So what you going, basically is like, hey, what you going through? You know, what you going through, we all go through this, because if you did something wrong, this is how God go punish you. Go ahead.
8, I would seek unto God, and unto God would I commit my cause.
Oh, so now he telling me, hey, man, you got to turn to God. See, I would seek unto God, and unto God would I commit my cause. Verse 9.
Which doeth great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number. Who giveth rain upon the earth, and sendeth waters upon the field.
Because hey, this is a wonderful God. But he really saying, what did you do to make God mad at you?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Skip down to verse 17.
Behold, happy is the man whom God correcteth, therefore despise not thou chastisement of the Almighty.
Oh, see, that's some good words, right? At 17 said, behold, happy is the man who God corrected, because we know that the Lord, you know, you supposed to rejoice when the Lord is correcting you. But see, he's got the mind state that Job did something. Job didn't do nothing. Behold, happy is the man whom God correcteth. Go ahead.
For he maketh sore and bindeth up.
Read that verse 17 again, the middle of verse 17 again. Therefore
Despise not thou the chastisement of the Almighty.
So therefore, despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. Hey, don't despise that whooping you're getting from God. Mm-hmm. Because you did something and you deserve it. But Job didn't do nothing. Right. Verse 18 now.
For he maketh sore and bindeth up. He woundeth, and his hands make whole.
All right, so he said right here, he said, for he maketh sore and bindeth up. He woundeth, and his hands make whole. The Lord is in control of all. This is he's not really saying nothing that, and really this is for us, for when we're going through something, because we are the ones who have done something to God. Right. But right here, at this point, Job didn't do nothing. Satan was testing him. And we all know that Satan said he can cause him to curse God. Hold your finger right here at this Job 5. Let's just go back. Let's go back to Job 2. Go back to Job 2. Job 2 and verse 1.
Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. Mm-hmm. And the Lord said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil?
Oh, and the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth? This is the Lord talking to Satan. He called him a perfect man, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. And this is in the question. What else?
And still he holdeth fast his integrity.
And he still, you didn't have his kids, you didn't kill his kids, took everything away from him, and he's still holding his integrity. It says, still he holdeth fast his integrity. Go ahead.
Although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause.
Oh, to destroy him without what?
Without cause.
Without a cause. He didn't do nothing. Verse 4.
And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin. Yea, all that a man hath will he give for his life.
And when we going through something, you get sick, you know, the first chapter you can go read. He lost his kids, he lost his wealth. And you go over here.
Back to back to back to back.
Then you go over here, now he didn't got smited with boils. But we read right here, read that verse, read the end of, no, read that verse 3 all over again. Read 3 again.
And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? And still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause.
To destroy him without a cause. And then Satan said, hey, look, skin for skin. You know, and when you think about it like this here, the minute we get sick, a lot of us, we already, why me, why not you? Skip down to verse 9.
Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die.
You see, now his wife, this is in his own household. But this is the same thing that Satan said, right? Verse 10.
But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil?
Yeah, man, Job had some understanding. Shall we not receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? We gotta take the good with the bad. He had that understanding. After that question, what?
In all this did not Job sin with his lips.
Now, all this, he wasn't talking crazy. Now let's read verse 11.
Now when Job's 3 friends heard of all this evil that was come upon him, they came every one from his own place. Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Nathemite, for they had made an appointment together to come to mourn with him and to comfort him.
So this is what he's thinking he's giving him words of comfort, but it's almost like accusations because he didn't do nothing over in 5. That's why all that it sounds real good. He's not saying some wrong things that just don't apply to Job. Well, yeah, verse 12.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And when they lifted up their eyes afar off and knew him not, they lifted up their voice and wept. And they rent every one his mantle and sprinkled dust upon their heads toward heaven.
Go ahead.
So they sat down with him upon the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and none spake a word unto him, for they saw that his grief was very great.
All right, so now he grieving. We just read over here. Now this is 2. All right? Let's read 3 and 1 real fast.
After this opened up Job his mouth and cursed his day. And Job spake and said, Let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, There is a man child conceived.
All right, so that's good because you can see Job, he's going through it. And we see that his 3 friends they was trying to comfort him. But what they're saying to him, it doesn't apply to him. Because he didn't do nothing wrong. We just read what the Lord said that moves me against him to destroy him without a cause. So then we read 4, right? 4 and 1. So then now Eliphaz starts to speak. Eliphaz is still speaking from 4 over into what you would call the 5th chapter. So this is him speaking. All right? So what we stop off at? We pick it back up at 17.
5 and 17?
Yep, 5 and 17.
Behold, happy is the man whom God correcteth, therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. For he maketh sore and bindeth up, he woundeth, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee.
Because he in control of it all. Because they in their head thinking Job did something. So now we over here at 5. 4 is where Eliphaz started talking. We just read in 3. That's when Job had said, hey, he like, man, I'm going through it. I regret I was born. Verse 20.
In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh.
Go ahead.
At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth.
Go ahead.
For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation, and shalt not sin. Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth. Thou shalt come to thy grave in full age, like a shock of corn cometh in his season.
All right, so now he's trying to basically tell Job, hey, you got to bear with. The Lord is in control of everything. So what you did, whatever you did to make God angry with you, you got to face the fact and just deal with what's going on. Now let's pick it up at Job 6 and verse 1. Let's see something.
But Job answered and said,
Oh, now who talking?
Job.
So, but Job answered and said, what Job answered and say?
Oh, that my grief were thoroughly weighed and my calamity laid in the balancings together.
Go ahead.
For now it would be heavier than the sand of the sea. Therefore my words are swallowed up.
Go ahead.
For the arrows of the Almighty are within me. The poison whereof drinketh up my spirit. The terrors of God do set themselves in array against me. Doth the wild ass bray when he hath grass, or loweth the oxen over his fodder? Can that which is unsavory be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the white of an egg? The things that my soul refused to touch are as my sorrowful meat. Oh, that I might have my request, and that God would grant me the thing that I long for, even that it would please God to destroy me.
Oh, so he said what?
Even that it would please God to destroy me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off.
Go ahead.
Then should I yet have comfort, yea, I would harden myself in sorrow, let him not spare, for I have not concealed the words of the Holy One.
All right, so that's good. So Job knew he didn't do nothing. But at verse 5, it's his friend at chapter 5, it's his friends talking to him. Trying to basically give him words of comfort, thinking that Job did something. Did that help you, Brother John? Yeah, he's basically talking. He's telling Job how to get from under, which is the same thing. How turn to God and accountability. That's the main thing. It's always about. Hold yourself accountable for what you did. In verse 12, he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He break down the ones who think who are very crafty. He in control of everything, so you can't do nothing unless the Lord allow you to do it. Mm-hmm. So in verse 12 it says he disappointed the device of the crafty. He basically stopping it. But this is God. Only God can do that. Man, we can't do that. We can't stop the craftiness of somebody. You think you did it, but you ain't do nothing. God did it. Well, he's basically telling him what the Lord does. So, and I mean that it would apply to some evildoers if you being crafty and all this here. But it's like I said, it's him talking, thinking that Job did something wrong. Because you got if you start at the beginning of the story, at the beginning of everything, and we read where the Lord said, you had me go against him and he had no cause.
Right.
So he didn't do nothing. But he didn't lost his kids. So let's think about all this. He didn't lost his kids. He didn't lost wealth. Then he got boils put on him.
Lost his health.
And then, his wife curse God and die. He's like, no, we receiving good because he was doing good. Then he was like, hey, shall we only receive good and not evil? So then when we read also, that was in the second chapter also too. And when we read it, went down to, we read about when his three friends came to help grieve and mourn with him. To comfort him.
Yeah, to comfort him.
So they was there to comfort him, And then we read what was like 7 days and 7 nights. They was there with him, but then in 3 is when Job started to talk, and basically he's saying, hey, look, man, I'm going through it. You know, you can go through something so bad that you just, you know, hey, man, not that you finna kill yourself. It's like, man, what did I do? And that's natural. What did I do so bad? What did I do? And, you know, you start questioning yourself. But he didn't question God because he know he flesh. So he understand one thing. Hey, he didn't question God at that point. But he understand one thing. Hey, I know what I have to do. I got to keep serving God through all of this. Mm-hmm. So then now when you read 3 and everything, now you read chapter 3, then you get over to 4, that's when his friend Eliphaz actually started to talk. Right. So he's thinking he's giving him words of comfort for Job doing something. So yeah, if 12, what was that, 12, 13, all the ones that seem like it's talking about evildoers, I mean, if it is, Job wasn't the evildoer in this situation. Right. He's just giving him words that they some good words, but they didn't fit for Job. You got that, Brother John? All right, we're going to go ahead and close on now.
All right. Hope everyone got edified, and we'll go ahead and close out and wrap up this questions and answers. Let us pray. Our Father who art in heaven,